Did you see it? Because if you blinked, you might have missed the moment that has left the entire army in tears. A moment so quietly powerful, so deeply emotional, that even the silence surrounding it felt louder than any stadium scream. After nearly 2 years of separation, two of BTS's most iconic souls, Kim Taehyung and Jungkook, finally met again, face to face, outside the walls of duty, outside the uniform, outside the military life that had kept them apart. And what happened in that one fleeting encounter has shaken the fandom to its core. It wasn't a planned media event. There were no speeches, no cameras rolling for a documentary, no scripted welcome back messages. Instead, it was real,
Raw. Human.
and utterly unforgettable. They met at a place no one expected, quietly, far from Seoul's flashing lights, just after Jungkook's own discharge had been confirmed. Taehyung had returned weeks earlier, his reappearance already melting the hearts of millions. But there had been one thing still missing him. Their reunion didn't begin with a handshake. It began with a pause, a long, emotional pause that seemed to stretch time itself. Jungkook stood still. Taehyung walked forward slowly. They didn't run into each other like in the fan fictions or the dramatized scenes we'd all imagined over and over again during those endless months.
No.
What actually happened was far more grounded, far more sincere, and yet infinitely more powerful. They simply stood there for a moment, and no words.
No gestures.
Just eyes locked, breathing slowed, and 1,000 unsaid thoughts rushing between them in silence. And then, as if gravity itself had pulled them together, they embraced, not like friends, not like colleagues, but like two people who had survived something enormous, apart, and finally made it back to each other on the other side. Jungkook's face was partly hidden by the cap he wore low, but witnesses nearby noticed the way his jaw clenched, as if holding something in. Taehyung, typically composed, let his emotions leak through the cracks. His eyes were red. Not from exhaustion, from holding it all in for too long. How do you say, I missed you after 2 years of silence? How do you express the kind of longing that grows in the spaces between letters not sent, songs not sung, and stages left in darkness? They didn't need to say anything at all. And yet, Taehyung whispered something. One sentence, caught only by a lucky fan who stood just within earshot. And that sentence has since gone viral among Korean fan forums, Twitter, and every major BTS community platform. He said, "So we made it through, huh?" 7 words, 0.7 words that carried the weight of 2 years of waiting, of wondering, of fighting against time and duty and distance. The world didn't need a press conference. It needed that hug. It needed to see two brothers return to each other, even if just for a minute. Even if the world wasn't supposed to be watching. And armies? They weren't ready. Thousands have since posted their reactions online, from full breakdowns to heartfelt essays about what Jungkook and Taehyung's bond means to them. Some fans said it felt like the sky had opened up again. Others said it was the most beautiful, silent moment in BTS history. But make no mistake, this wasn't just a personal meeting. This was a message, not just to ARMY, but to the world. BTS is coming back, and the heart of it all still beats. Now the question on everyone's lips is, what happens next? Was this just a heartfelt reunion, or is something much bigger happening behind the scenes? Could this emotional moment be the prelude to something ARMY has been praying for since the enlistments began? One thing's for certain. This was not the end. It was only the beginning. If you thought the hug was the most emotional part, think again. Just when fans thought the moment couldn't get more heart-wrenching, more honest, or more unforgettable, something small, almost invisible to the naked eye, happened between Jungkook and Taehyung. Something so subtle, yet so deliberate, that armies around the world are now working around the clock to decode its meaning. It happened just as their embrace began to loosen. Taehyung didn't step back immediately. His hand reached behind Jungkook's back, slow, soft, almost hesitant, and then moved downward. In that exact moment, a folded slip of paper was passed.
Smooth. Quiet.
Hidden. Not a word was said. Jungkook looked down for a second, his expression unreadable. Then he placed the small note in his pocket, without opening it, without asking, without even reacting visibly. Why? Why would Taehyung pass a secret note to Jungkook during their first reunion in nearly 2 years? What could possibly be written on something so small that it couldn't be said aloud, especially with no one else around? Fans who caught the exact second on camera have analyzed every frame. The gesture was intentional, practiced even, as if they had promised long ago that when they met again, no matter what, this message would be passed first, before anything else, and the emotions behind Jungkook's face in that moment, undeniably real. He swallowed hard. His hand briefly tightened into a fist. Then he nodded, twice. Not to Taehyung, not to the staff, but to himself, as if confirming something only he understood. That's when the tears came. He didn't sob. He didn't collapse. He simply looked at Taehyung and smiled. But not the radiant golden magne smile we all know. This one was different. It was softer, more fragile, as if it came from the part of him he never shows anyone. The part that had been waiting for this exact moment for nearly 700 days. And Taehyung, he just said 2 words. You remember. Not, do you remember? Not, did you read it? Just, you remember. Those words hit like thunder across the fanbase. What did Jungkook remember? Was it a promise made before enlistment? A line from a song that never got released? A lyric, a letter, a dream they never told anyone. It's now being called the hidden promise. Entire Reddit threads, TikTok timelines, and Weverse posts are dedicated to cracking the meaning of that note. Some fans believe it's the opening line to a song the two began writing before enlistment. Others think it's a phrase connected to their shared childhood memories, possibly something only the two of them know. But one thing is certain, IT meant everything, because in that moment, the quiet transfer of a single piece of paper spoke louder than 100 award speeches. Louder than military discharge ceremonies. Louder than chart numbers and press releases. This wasn't just a reunion. It was a return to something they had been protecting silently for 2 years, each other. And fans are not just emotional, they're devastated in the most beautiful way. One ARMY on Twitter wrote, I thought I was ready to see them together again. I wasn't. That paper? That look? That hug? I'm crying like it's 2013 again. Others are now wondering, is this just the beginning of something bigger? Could that note be the clue to a project Jungkook and Taehyung have been planning in secret? Could it be a teaser for a surprise duet, a short film, or even the emotional return of BTS in a way we've never seen before? Taehyung walked away first. Not because he wanted to leave, but because he knew he had delivered the message. His hand lingered one last second on Jungkook's shoulder.
No fanfare. No baguette.
Just a silent departure. Jungkook stood still. He didn't chase after Taehyung, because he already knew, whatever that paper said, it meant one thing. It's time. Time for something the world isn't ready for yet, but ARMY, they feel it. In their bones. In their hearts. Something is coming, and it started with that note. Something has changed. Since the moment Taehyung slipped that small piece of paper into Jungkook's hand, the global BTS fandom hasn't slept. Screens have been frozen, magnified, slowed down frame by frame. Audio filters have been applied to muffled background videos. Forum threads have exploded with speculation. And the same question continues to haunt every ARMY heart. What's in the note? Some think it's just personal. A private message between 2 people who had to say too little for too long. But others, more skeptical, more tuned into the patterns of BTS's layered storytelling, believe it's something far greater, a hidden message, a signal, a plan that has been unfolding long before we even realized it. Let's back up. Just hours after the reunion, eagle-eyed fans discovered something chilling, a photo from early 2023, before either Taehyung or Jungkook enlisted, showed them backstage at a BTS shoot. In it, Taehyung is handing something to Jungkook, again folded. Again small. Again, quiet. IT looks exactly like the note from today. Could it be that this moment was planned years ago? But the real twist came when a fan translated an old interview from Taehyung in 2022, where he said, almost cryptically, "There's something I want to give Jungkook after we both complete military service. Something that will remind him who he is and who we are." Nobody thought much of it back then, but now, that quote is being plastered everywhere because fans are convinced. The note isn't just a reminder. It's a trigger. The trigger to something BTS has been building behind closed doors. Something that starts not with 7, but with 2. Taehyung, Jungkook, brothers in arms. Bound by duty, bonded by something deeper than we've ever been allowed to see. Could this be the opening move of their return? Some armies believe the folded paper contains the first lyric of a long-teased Taekook duet. Others are pointing to a long-standing theory, the parallel chapter theory, which suggests BTS has been writing a hidden story alongside their public career, one that will only be revealed in full after all 7 members have served. And that theory? It just got a massive boost, because shortly after the reunion, both Taehyung and Jungkook's Spotify accounts updated at the same time for the first time in months, but no new music was added. Just metadata. One fan in Korea noticed that both artists updated their bios at exactly 3:01 p.m. Korea Standard Time, the precise minute they reunited at the base. And what was in the bios? One word: remember. No explanation. No context. Just that. Now ask yourself, coincidence or code? The fandom doesn't believe in accidents anymore, not with BTS. Every visual, every movement, every note or lyric or photo placement has a purpose. It always has. So, when 2 of the group's most emotionally intuitive members coordinate this perfectly on the day of their long-awaited reunion, fans are right to pay attention, especially when the word matches exactly what Taehyung said to Jungkook after the hug. You remember. It wasn't just emotional. It was literal, intentional. Like he was confirming that Jungkook had received a message not just now, but long ago, and that the next step has already begun. But what is it? What are we supposed to remember? One theory gaining massive traction is that the reunion was meant to mirror a scene from their 2019, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life storyline, a fictional BTS universe where characters struggle with time, memory, and reunion. Did I end one particular scene? 2 characters meet again after being separated by tragedy. One hands the other a note. The note says, "You came back. I knew you would." Now fans believe Taehyung and Jungkook just recreated that moment in real life, and that it means we're entering a new BTS era. One rooted in rebirth. One that starts with memory and ends with a comeback no one is ready for. And the fans, they're crying again, not just because of what already happened, but because they sense something coming. Something that will break us, remake us, and remind us why this bond between 7 men and millions of hearts still matters. Even after the uniforms come off, this is no longer about a reunion. This is about return. You thought it ended with a hug? Think again, because what seemed like the emotional peak of Taehyung and Jungkook's long-awaited reunion has just unraveled into something no one predicted. A wave of fan-led decoding has revealed a pattern, not in today's photos, not in today's words, but in the past. In the military letters both Taehyung and Jungkook quietly released during service, long before they met again. Letters we thought were just simple check-ins. Heartfelt. Honest. But what if those letters were something else entirely? A countdown. It all started when one army posted a side-by-side comparison of Taehyung's letter from early December and Jungkook's from late April. Nothing unusual at first. Sweet words. Encouragement. Mentions of the members and fans. But then came the shock. In Taehyung's December letter, he signed off with a sentence that ended oddly. "I'll see you soon, maybe in just 6 beats." 6 beats. No one understood what it meant.
It was dismissed.
A poetic metaphor, maybe. Then Jungkook's letter from April surfaced again. At the very bottom, where he usually signs off with "Army, I miss you," or "Let's be healthy." There was something new. 3 left. Nothing more, just 3 left. It didn't fit. But now, after their reunion and the mysterious note that said, "Remember," fans believe they've cracked the code. Taehyung's 6 beats wasn't just a random phrase.
It was a starting point.
A ticking clock, a countdown, and Jungkook's 3 left. The halfway point. Then, during their reunion, the exact moment they embraced, the background music playing on someone's Bluetooth speaker, accidentally caught in a fan's video, was a BTS track many forgot. Heartbeat. That's right, Heartbeat. 6 letters, a coincidence. Not anymore. Especially when fans realize this. On Jungkook's birthday last year, Taehyung posted an IG story with a caption, "Your rhythm keeps time with mine."
No one noticed at the time.
Just poetic, fans thought. Just another sweet brother moment. But in hindsight, it was everything. The theory has now gone viral. Taehyung and Jungkook have been counting down to this moment, quietly, for months. Using letters, phrases, music, each message a beat, each interaction a silent signal, until the moment they could finally reunite and restart the rhythm. But here's the part that's breaking fans. There's one more letter, an unreleased message, point 1, that hasn't been posted publicly yet, but fans are now certain it exists. A final beat. The last step in a plan years in the making. Some speculate this message is what was written on the paper Taehyung gave Jungkook. Others think it hasn't been read yet because it's not for him. It's for us, for ARMY, and it's coming. Because just yesterday, a hidden link was discovered on BTS's official website. The page is blank. No graphics. No text. Just a countdown timer, 13 days. 17 hours. 04 minutes. And at the bottom, a single word appears after 10 seconds. Begin. Fans are now flooding the site, theorizing, preparing, crying. Because if the theory is correct, if everything we've seen, every hug, every heartbeat, every cryptic sentence, every line from every letter is true, then BTS isn't coming back with just a song. They're coming back with a story, point 1 they wrote while in silence. One they guarded through tears, through distance, through uniforms and duty and longing. One they trusted Taehyung and Jungkook to carry until it was time. And now, it's time to AS for Jungkook and Taehyung. They've gone quiet again. And new posts. No live appearances. No selfies. Just silence. The kind of silence that knows something is coming. And maybe that's the most beautiful part of all. That even after years of separation, even after time and duty and pain, the rhythm is still there. The bond is still real. The story is still being written. And ARMY, you are always part of it. You are never just watching. You are the beat that never stop. Now we wait, not in fear, but in faith. Because when the countdown hits 0, when the final letter is revealed, and when the lights come on again, we won't just be watching 2 brothers embrace after war. We'll be witnessing the return of something bigger than music. The return of BTS.